Hello there, a very good evening to you. You're live here on News Tonight. I'm Natalie. For a look at our top stories. Coming up this evening, how will the revocation of the controversial LI 2424 that allows mining in forest reserves affect the ongoing Galamsey fight? We ask as 3 MPs push for revocation of the law. We'll find out shortly. Also coming up tonight, Accra High Court sentences 18-year-old for life, refers 15-year-old to juvenile court for sentencing as jury found them guilty for murder of 10-year-old Ishmael Abdullah at Kaswa for money ritual. Later in the bulletin, police arrest suspect seen carrying gun in viral video during NDC NPP supporters clash at Mamobi. Also coming up, Ministry of Trade and Industry says it has put in place short to long-term policy framework aimed at creating an ecosystem for SMEs to thrive. This is News Tonight here on GHOne TV. I'm Natalie Fort. You can watch this bulletin all across the world on Facebook and X at GHOne TV. Let's get started this evening as the 2 teenagers, Nicholas Kinney and minor, name withheld, who have been charged for killing a 10-year-old Ishmael Mensa Abdullah at Kaswa for money rituals, have been found guilty and convicted. Their conviction was after a 7-member jury panel returned a unanimous guilty verdict against them on each of the 2 counts, namely conspiracy and murder. The 18-year-old Nicholas Kinney was sentenced to life imprisonment, while the 15-year-old juvenile has been referred to the juvenile court for sentencing, as the High Court has no jurisdiction to sentence him. Justice Lydia Osei-Marfo, a justice of the Court of Appeal who presided over the case as an additional High Court judge, sentenced the 18-year-old Nicholas Kinney as an adult. EIB Network's legal affairs correspondent Murtala Inusa has more.
On the 10th of April, Ishmael Mensa Abdullah, 10-year-old boy, was killed. 2 persons were arrested, one 15-year-old boy and an 18-year-old young offender. Fast forward, in March 2023, the trial began. Prosecution called 7 witnesses. The accused persons, all of them also gave accounts of what happened. Today, October 24, a 7-member jury returned a unanimous verdict against all the 2 accused persons on both counts of conspiracy to murder and murder. Consequently, Justice Lydia Osei-Marfo has applied the law, and the law is that the 18-year-old young offender is handed a life sentence or life imprisonment, while the 15-year-old juvenile who committed the offense at the time that he was 15 has been remitted to the juvenile court for sentencing. The family of Ishmael Mensa Abdullah has described this as justice served them, despite the fact that their son will not come back to life.
The family is satisfied, even though we've lost our son. This should serve as a deterrent to any other person who wants to take the law into his or her own hands.
But what has the counsel for the 15-year-old boy has to say?
It is good because the evidence is obvious that my client, for instance, admitted to the offense. And once you've admitted your offense, there's no way that the jury returned no guilty verdicts.
For Nicholas Kinney, the rest of his life will have to be in lawful custody. What did his counsel say?
We can't say much. You were in court throughout the trial and you had the evidence on record. There was little we could do. Just like counsel for first accused said, it is a duty of our client to tell us the truth, give us the facts as they are. Throughout the trial, we asked him whether he committed the offense. He denied to us. And there was nothing we could tell the court apart from what he has told us.
In fact, Justice Lydia Osei-Mafo was concerned about how parents have shirked their responsibility. And it says that the consequences is what we are seeing from the law court complex here in Accra.
Murtala Inusa there. In other news this evening, the Ghana Police Service has announced the arrest of Fatau Ibrahim, also known as Fatau Motorway, who was seen brandishing a firearm in videos taken during the October 13th clash between supporters of the governing New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress. Following the incident, which left 2 people injured, the police had declared Ibrahim wanted. Now, according to reports, Ibrahim's arrest marks a significant development in the police investigation into the violent clash between the 2 political parties. The police have been searching for Ibrahim since the incident, and his capture is expected to shed more light on the circumstances surrounding the violence. The Ghana Police Service has been working to maintain law and order in the country, particularly during periods of heightened political tension. This arrest demonstrates their commitment to holding perpetrators of violence accountable for their actions. Next on News Tonight, we bring you Insight.
Insight is brought to you by Pepsodent Herbal for strong teeth and gums and Pepsodent Charcoal for natural whiter teeth.
On Insights this evening, in a determined effort to combat the destruction of water bodies by illegal mining activities, the Savannah Regional Security Council has launched a military operation targeting the Black Volta River in the Bode district. During the swoop, 31 Chang Fang machines were destroyed as authorities escalated the fight against illegal mining in the region.
31 Shamfan machines used for illegal mining on the Black Volta near Bomboy in the Bole district of the Savannah region were set ablaze following renewed efforts to protect the country's water bodies. Other items belonging to the miners were burnt as the task force intensified its operations. A pump action gun was also retrieved from a makeshift camp set up by the illegal miners. The latest operation, led by the military task force sanctioned by the Savannah Regional Security Council, is also aimed at safeguarding the environment against the continued destruction of water bodies and farmlands in communities along the Black Volta. However, this isn't the first time such an operation has been carried out. In September, a joint security task force carried out a similar operation in the area, burning 4 Shamfan machines. Despite these efforts, an estimated 400 illegal mining machines remained operational along the Black Volta River. The Savannah Regional Security Council has pledged to sustain these operations until the illegal miners are completely removed from the Black Volta River. The people of the Savannah region and the rest of Ghana hope that these concerted efforts will finally restore the country's rivers and lands from the grips of illegal miners.
Now, a push by some 3 members of parliament from the National Democratic Congress side for the revocation of the controversial LI 2462, which allows for mining in forest reserves, has been greeted with widespread commendation. The MPs, including Francis Xavier Sosu, Samuel Okujotoa Blakwa, and Alhassan Suhuyini, submitted the bill in a formal memo to the Clerk of Parliament on Tuesday, October 22. The private member's bill aims to repeal Section 3, Subsection 2 of the Environmental Protection, Mining and Forest Reserves Regulations 2022 LI 2462, which grants the President's authority to issue mining leases for exploration within forest reserves in Ghana. Speaking to Star News, the Medina MP, who is one of the proponents of the bill, argued that as lawmakers, they bear a greater responsibility to ensure the rights of Ghanaians to a clean, healthy and sustainable environment.
I think it doesn't seem like he has dealing with the Galante issue, particularly with the mining in reserves. And that is why it has become very necessary that we introduce this private member's bill. In fact, I know that government had made some assurances to organized labor that they were taking some steps to make that happen. But now that they have become minority in parliament, I don't know whether they will still be willing to commitment. And that's important that we, the majority side in parliament, we will push this bill. I'm confident that it can happen. Once we have it introduced right now, as I'm speaking to you now, it's on its way to the Justice Department for them to examine it, and then we're going to analysis of, and on indefinite suspension, processes that go with those that are brought to the House. We are hoping that we will go through all those. The time we are recalled back to Parliament, each way we can actually do the first reading, have it referred, consider it at a committee level, and get back to remember that this Parliament is going to run until the 6th of January 2025. And so we hope that in between time we'll be able to get.
So just how impactful will the revocation of this LI be in the fight against the illegal mining menace? Well, I've been joined by Awula Sewa, the coordinator for Eco-Conscious. She's joining via phone, and via Zoom is Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe, the convener for the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining. Now, I'd like to start with you, Awula Sewa. In your view, is the revocation of this LI, does it come as good news to you in the fight against illegal mining?
Well, if it's revoked, if it's actually revoked, of course it will be a step in the right direction. We know what the importance of forest reserves. A lot of rivers take their source from forest reserves. Now, we know the importance of globally significant biodiversity areas. So only a perceived piece of legislation will allow for mining in forest reserves, including globally significant biodiversity areas. If the president says it's in the national interest, it can never be in the national interest. And we know that since LI 2462 was passed, a number of licenses have been granted to mining forest reserves, such as the Draw River Forest Reserve and others. So if that piece of legislation is revoked, it's a step in the right direction. And one, we're also asking for a state of emergency so we can go to the forest reserves, get rid of all the miners and also the equipment, both the forest reserves and the water bodies. And then we're asking for a pause in community mining, because even the big ones, about 16 or so of them, we can't even monitor them properly. How much more the thousands of small-scale mining operators? There are laws they are supposed to conform with, but who is checking? Is the EPA actually regulating and enforcing anything? I think not. So that is why we've asked for, those steps to be taken so that some sanity will begin to prevail.
Right, so I'm going to ask that you hold on, but do stay on the line for me briefly. I'd want to engage now with Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe, convener for the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining. Now, Dr. Ashigbe, you heard Awula Sewa there highlighting, of course, that it's good news. In your view, what do you make of this move, of the revocation of the LI, and particularly looking at the timing as well? We know that this parliament, the life of this parliament is soon going to come to an end. How impactful do you think that it's going to be in view of the time frame?
Well, thank you very much. And I could not, but I agree with my sister that it's a step in the right direction. It's one of the things that the Media Coalition and Labour asks government to do and to repeal it. Our disappointment is the fact that when Parliament resumed on the 15th. I would have thought that, considering the fact that this was a crisis, we would have gotten the Attorney General on the first day in Parliament to get this, piece of legislation passed to be able to revoke it. But that did not happen, and Parliament then got involved in this drama of minority and majority, and where we are. So if the Attorney General does it, it's good. If the private members' bill also come to do it, it's good. The most important thing is that piece of legislation needs to be revoked. The advice we have on from the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey is that if Parliament wants to deal with it, there are ways they can deal with it without necessarily waiting 21 days for that piece of legislation to mature. So our hope is that whatever that has to be done, we need to look into what laws we have, what standing orders we have, to ensure that we are able to do this immediately. And it's not enough to just revoke this LI 2462. Another ask that we have from the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey is for His Excellency the President to, through an executive instrument, revoke all licenses that have been, or permits that have been issued under this obnoxious law. And also we are asking the EPA that once the government has declared its intention to revoke it, they should suspend the LI, and that there should be no action taken again. We know that the Minerals Commission has granted some permits, but the EPA is yet to sign on to that, so the EPA should desist from doing that, since the government declared that they were going to revoke it. And we pray that the Minerals Commission is not, at this stage when the LI has not been revoked, granting anybody else any of the permits under that obnoxious law.
Right. Now, how about the efforts? I mean, in the past 24 hours, over the past 24 hours, we've had 30 Shangfangs being destroyed, as you know, along the Black Volta. What do you think that these efforts can also be sustained concurrently, and within what period would you want to see them be sustained?
Well, I think it's good to have heard that on the Black Volta as well, some effort is going on. The challenge for me is the piecemeal approach to the fight. We would have wished that the state of emergency would have been declared on the water bodies, the buffers of the water bodies, and in the forest reserves. So you remember that the last time when the 100 extra men went to the eastern region onto the Brim River, specifically around Inyim, by the time they left, what then happened was that these criminals went back onto the Chamfans again. And it has to take my conversation between myself and the Secretary General of the Small Scale Miners Association for them to return to that space. And then they went there and arrested some people. If the state of emergency had been declared, and then we go with, get the Navy to get onto the water bodies. But one of the new things that these illegal miners are doing now is the fact that, the Chamfans, as you see them on your screen now what they are doing is that when they hear that these people are coming, they bury them. They take the substructure up and then they bury the equipment. So you won't see it floating on the surface of the water anymore. And then when you leave at night, they then come operation. But if we could get the Navy into the water, we get the Air Force also flying sorties over these water bodies, using a lot of intelligence, we would be able to catch them who are on the water bodies, arrest them, and make sure that whoever it is who are their financiers, we also reach out to them. And then the issue of burning on the Chamfans, on the water bodies, itself results in some pollutants leaking into the waters. So it is important that when we get there, we should be able to get some amphibious vehicles with cranes that would be able to pull out these Chamfans from the water bodies and then take them out. But we need to also combine this with intelligence. So who are those in the communities who are manufacturing these Chamfans for them? These Chamfans, definitely before they get into the water bodies from the wildest shore, will go onto the roads. We have police barriers in these communities. How come these Chamfans are passing over there and we're not getting them arrested? So we need to see a lot more intelligence action, and we need to see some concurrent action taking place all across Ghana to ensure that we are able to deal with this challenge that is confronting us.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time this evening, Dr. Ken Ashigbe, convener for the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining. I now return to you, Awula Sewa. You heard the concerns being raised by Dr. Ashigbe as well, and the need for increased intelligence. Now, in round, I'd like to find out from you, what other commitments will you expect the executive arm of government to come up with as it stands, given that the life of the 8th Parliament is soon coming to an end?
We won't expect there to be the political will to redeem this presidency. So no matter the number of days left, show that for once we have the political will to do something. Everything my brother Ken said, I agree with it. Declare the state of emergency and get rid of the environmental terrorists from our water bodies and our forest reserves. And everything he said, if he has come up with this, if we have the political will, do you think we can't come up with this? The political will isn't there. Even giving us the wrong impression that the effort has been made before Parliament, when it has not even been made before Parliament. There's no seriousness. And that is being said, we can gather intelligence, get the communities involved, and deal with the financiers. Because at the end of the day, they are the ones who are investing in the destruction of Ghana. And I have to say here that there are national security concerns. We saw how our esteemed reporter, Erastus, and his team were beaten up. We cannot have armed gangs kidnapping people and assaulting them, and nothing happens to them. Because what will happen is that parts of Ghana will become ungovernable, like we have in Latin America with the drug cartels controlling parts of the country, if nothing is done. So apart from an existential threat, we now also face national security concerns. So the government has to sit up before it's too late. All we are thinking about is elections. What is the point of governing a country that's dying of kidney disease and cancers? The soil has been contaminated, our food chain has been compromised. What is the point? So let's nip what is happening in the bud. And I have to say that I want to call on the government once again to declare the state of emergency. Because as was said, we couldn't return to the water bodies and begin to continue polluting and poisoning it if we had a state of emergency. What on earth are we waiting for?
Thank you for your time this evening. Awula Sewa joining us there, coordinator for Eco-Conscious, still maintaining the call for a state of emergency. That's how we wrap up with Insights tonight. Now, we've got 44 days to the 2024 general elections, and we remain your election hub. Are political campaign songs overshadowing the core messages of the campaigns? Are they tools that reinforce party loyalty over national interest, effectively sidelining important discourse? These questions are critical as Ghana navigates its democratic landscape. In the following report, my colleague Eliklem Awuku explores how the prevalence of catchy campaign songs just may be distracting and detracting from substantive discussions about policies and promises.
Comes from the story of Galamsey, or illegal artisanal mining. Again, despite the scale and gravity of the devastation this widespread practice is causing to the country's ecology, water supply systems, and long-term public health, resolute action has not been forthcoming from the political classes. And here, they do not even pretend to conceal their self-serving reasons for not acting resolutely to stop the ecocide.
This sentiment was echoed by former executive director of the Media Foundation for West Africa, Professor Kwame Kakari, who also raised concerns about the current state of Ghana's democracy. He emphasized the need for a more substantial focus on democratic principles rather than party loyalties.
Political parties refuse to address major existential issues such as Galamsey because they fear to lose votes, or because their leaders and financiers are beneficiaries. We are compelled to ask, who do the parties represent? Votes or the voters?
So, what's the beef with political campaign songs? After all, they are a well-known marketing strategy. Suleimana Brahima, Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa, argues that the prevalence of these tunes has pushed meaningful campaign messages and critical discussions to the sidelines.
It's indeed a problematic situation where, if you listen to the campaign now, perhaps you would hear more sounds and more music than policies that are being put out, and a lot more promises here and there. Indeed, that is why if you take the biggest problem of Galamsey, which is destroying our environment, destroying our future, both parties are shying away from touching on it. As he said, it's about we don't want to lose votes. And I have friends on both sides who say, what can 3 months do?
In an era where catchy melodies dominate, it raises an important question. Are Ghanaians jamming to the beat of political change, or are they simply dancing to the rhythm of party politics?
Well, away from that, 265 elected assembly members in the Greater Accra region have publicly endorsed the candidature of the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, ahead of the 2024 general election. At a press conference by the elected assembly members, the group expressed confidence in the track record of the NDC flag bearer and pledged to deploy some strategies they employed during the district assembly elections to campaign for him.
The MPP government, led by Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bami as the head of the economic management team, has failed to deliver the economic promises they made. As I speak to you, the dollar against the cedi has run away. The cost of food prices have gone up. This failure has affected the development in our electoral areas and has hindered our ability to serve our communities effectively and has betrayed the trust of Ghanaians. In light of the economic failures, we have carefully considered the leadership alternative available to the nation as we approach the 2024 elections. After extensive discussions, after extensive analysis, more than 2/3 elected assembly members of the Greater Accra have taken a bold step to endorse the former president, John Dramani Mahama, as the leader who can turn things around and restore the hopes of Ghanaians.
Assembly member for the Kaneshie electoral area, Ebenezer Edu, also said the elected assembly members were left with no other option than to choose the former president John Dramani Mahama because of his exceptional leadership.
As assembly members, as agents of change or agents of development in our electoral area, we believe strongly that with the policies outlined, with the vision outlined, and with the track record of his excellency John Dramani Mahama, we believe strongly that if you give another chance to become the president, development that we need in our electoral area will be materialized.
Now, Executive Director for Civic Tech Organization Pen Plus Bytes, Jerry Sam, has revealed that only 40% out of the total voting population votes based on policies of political parties in their manifesto. According to him, the trend is largely due to lack of access to party manifestos, compelling majority of voters in the country to vote based on ethnicity, religious and familial backgrounds, and urged political parties to simplify their manifestos to help voters understand their policy directions.
From the research, quite a significant number of people actually do not bother about manifestos, which is okay. I mean, a lot of us also, go along that line. One of the reasons given was that they don't have access to the manifestos. Also, the manifestos are voluminous, so puts them off reading it. And then they have entrenched positions as to voting based on tribal lines, voting based on religious lines. Some also say that as for our household, we always vote this way. We are conservative and this is what we do and this is what we believe in. So what we've done is that we want to challenge this pre-existing dynamics and refocus our conversation around political party positions. So that's how come we this informed why we developed the Voters Compass. So the Voters Compass idea is just like a compass used for directions. It leads you to the right way. And so we've actually simplified the manifestos from the various political parties. We tried as much as possible to get all the 13 political parties on board so that we don't leave anyone behind, and also give all the aspirants a chance, to winning the seats, and give all the aspirants opportunity to sell their message through their political party manifestos. One of the things that we're looking also towards is that once people get access to the manifestos, then they get access to the right sort of information, so that they don't believe any disinformation, misinformation that is out there.
Governance expert Dr. Frederick Ojuro says the move by the MPP caucus to recall Parliament is unnecessary, following a petition by Deputy Majority Whip and MP for Seshri Akontombra on Article 112, Section 3 of the 1992 Constitution. In Order 53 of Parliament's standing orders petition the Speaker to recall the House in 7 days. Speaking earlier on GH1 Newsroom with my colleague Awisi Dede Jange, Dr. Oduro stressed that there are no urgent business for the House to attend to despite several outstanding revenue bills which are yet to be approved.
The petition by Safi Akotomra MP Alex Tete comes just 2 days after Speaker of Parliament Alben Bagwen on October 22 adjourned proceedings following a Supreme Court directive to halt his earlier ruling that declared 4 parliamentary seats vacant.
These MPs cannot be allowed by law and my good self to continue to pretend to be representing people that they don't believe in and they don't have any loyalty for in this house any longer.
Bagben's announcement sparked drama, with some members of the NDC caucus staging a symbolic march in response. Second Deputy Whip of the MPP caucus, Alex Tete, emphasized the urgency of recalling Parliament in his petition, stressing the need to resume critical government work, including the passage of key bills and discussions on national issues. He expressed confidence that Speaker Bagwen will grant their request for a recall to the House.
To put in a request through the senators that I have corrected. Now we need to actually pass this financial, the loan, the one that I've actually mentioned, the EPL bill, and he's the leader of the House and the leader of the government business. So he has actually triggered this constitutional instrument by instructing me as a deputy whip to actually send the petition to Speaker. And personally, I have handed over the petition. And we are not doing anything uncalled for. We are using the constitutional instrument and our standing order of Parliament.
MP for Sisala East and Deputy Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, Ishaku Amidu Chinia, has defended the MPP caucus's decision to recall Parliament, stressing that the proposed agenda is crucial.
I am not challenging his decision to adjourn the House indefinitely, even though I think that because of the impending businesses, he could have done something else. He could have still engaged the leadership of both sides and bring a resolution so that parliamentary business can continue, government business will be done. He has done what he has to do. And so the majority, as required by Article 112, 15% of membership can request Speaker to recall Parliament. And that process has been triggered. And we expect that the Speaker will recall Parliament.
However, the NDC caucus is firmly opposed to this, threatening to pursue an injunction against the recall of Parliament. Sisala West MP Mohammed Adam Suparo contends that just as the MPP caucus sought an interpretation of Article 97G of the Constitution, which he insists was clear, the NDC caucus will likewise seek clarification on Article 1123 of the Constitution.
I will do that in consultation with the leadership of my side to secure an injunction on Mr. Speaker from summoning Parliament, I will further seek for constitutional interpretation, the Supreme Court to interpret that particular clause, the clause 112, the Article 112 clause 3. Until that is determined, Mr. Speaker has no right to summon Parliament.
Meanwhile, governance expert Dr. Frederick Oduro argues that the MPP caucus's move to recall Parliament is unnecessary.
This Parliament has proven itself that they cannot even agree on the most simplest thing. So for me, I don't see any harm that will come to the economy should the recall today not come to Parliament. I believe this Parliament has shown itself to be so divisive and parochial in its outlook that national interest is of little concern to them. That it is for partisan interest that they are interested in. So my point of view is that I wish the Parliament never meet, not even to discuss their end of service benefits, which is so dear to their hearts.
As Ghana faces another test to its evolving democracy, citizens are closely watching the unfolding events leading up to the critical election on December 7, 2024.
And we'll bring you lots more comprehensive election-related news in the days ahead right here on GH1 TV. That wraps up Election Hub. To news tonight. It's now time for the business segment. Now, technological enthusiasts and some persons with disability have participated in this year's Disability Inclusive Hackathon, a bid to pitch viable technological solutions to improve the quality of life of over 3 million Ghanaians living with disability across the country. There's more in this report.
Under the theme Leveraging Technology for Sustainable Development, teams from technological enthusiasts and some persons with disability from this year's Disability Inclusive Hackathon pitched innovative ideas that will help promote and develop sustainable technologies in order to achieve a digitally inclusive environment for persons with disabilities, the aged, and other vulnerable groups.
Our kids will come and play.
After the pitch, the various teams had an intimate session with tech mentors who directed and helped shape the ideas and inventions for the finale of the 3-day event. Dr. Joyce Koyako is one of the judges who highlighted the importance of prioritizing sustainability in the various inventions.
Been fantastic today. Great mind, great ideas. The pitch that they gave were fantastic. We just look up to them fleshing it out more so that we understand the benefits it's going to deliver to us. The most important thing is whatever they bring out should be of value and should be sustainable. They are great minds, so I believe they can do it.
Broadcast journalist and disability rights advocate Paul Amwa Kodie reiterated on the need of these tech solutions to be user-friendly.
It's been a very great day. I am always for inclusivity, accessibility, and sustainability. And so you look at the solutions and it's targeted at persons with disabilities, which is so amazing. So I think it's been a great day so far. They've done their presentations. I think that they are good apps or devices they want to come out with, but surely it needs some kind of shaping so that it can become scalable and also more user-friendly.
In other business news, the Ministry of Trade and Industry says it has put in place a short to long-term policy framework aimed at creating an ecosystem where every entrepreneur can thrive. The move, according to the Director of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, Stella Akosia Ansah, is to enhance the realization of a dynamic and vibrant sector that contributes significantly to value addition.
The Ghana National Kaizen Awards seeks to train and celebrate young entrepreneurs who are thriving in their businesses. Over 10,000 small and medium-sized enterprises have benefited from this implementation. At the 2024 awards, the Ministry for Trade and Industry noted a number of initiatives to nurture and empower MSMEs have been implemented through the Ghana Enterprises Agency.
To chart a viable path in attaining sustainable growth and development for itself, it is important that every moment you conduct a critical self-assessment of your own performance by looking at what has been achieved in the past and challenges encountered, and come out with innovative ways of addressing these challenges in order to achieve your own set targets. Once you set new targets in quality and efficiency, we know that you would achieve ripple effects through supply chains, inspire competitors, and enhance Ghana's reputation in the global marketplace.
For her part, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Enterprises Agency, Kosi Yanka Aye, noted all the 4 award winners will continue to receive Kaizen and business development support from the agency.
These enterprises will be linked to markets and financial resources to enable them to continue their journey of growth and success. As we move forward, let us remember that Kaizen is not just a business strategy, it is the way of life. It teaches us that there's always room for improvement, no matter how small. By embracing this mindset, our enterprises, our economy, and our nation will continue to thrive. In conclusion, I wish to extend my heartfelt congratulations to all our nominees and participants. You are the future of Ghanaian entrepreneurship. Your dedication to continuous improvement is the reason we are here today, and it is what will propel Ghana forward in the years to come. To the Japan International Cooperation Agency, our deepest appreciation goes to you for your continuous support and collaboration throughout these years. We are here because of your unflinching support. We believe in deepening our partnership so that together we can build sustainable and a brighter future for Ghanaians and Ghanaian businesses, one step at a time.
The Japan International Cooperation Agency is supporting this initiative for businesses to chart a viable path for attaining sustainable growth and development.
The National Kaizen Award ceremony realizes the immense contribution of MSMEs to the regional, district, and national economic development, and has sought to impart the knowledge and practice of Kaizen in several regions of Ghana. This event will seek to award the best Kaizen implementing enterprises, which will boost the morale and the ginger the interest of other enterprises going forward to participate in Kaizen implementation. It is my hope that through this event, the benefits and positive impacts of Kaizen will be propagated throughout Ghana and Africa at large. It's my hope that this laudable initiative will be emulated countrywide.
The initiative, which has laid the foundation for a new wave of Ghanaian entrepreneurship, is themed exploring the role and contribution of Kaizen in promoting innovation and digitalization in SMEs.
You're watching News Tonight. Now, Benjamin Yamwa is in studio with the very latest from the world of sports. Ben?
Well, thank you very much. And I've got news on CAF nominating some 2 Ghanaians for a CAF Awards night fixed for this particular. Details of that and some other stories all coming up in sports after this. So Ghana's Black Satellites will battle against La Côte d'Ivoire in the semi-finals of the WAFO B Under 20 Championship on Saturday, 26th of October, the conclusion of the group matches in the championship. Satellites, winners of Group A, will battle second place in Group B, that's Côte d'Ivoire, in an epic youth championship semi-final clash to be held in Togo. Coach Desmond of first side need to be at their best, as victory against Ivorians will guarantee a place in the final and secure them a qualification as well for the African U20 Championship later on this year. Nigeria won Group A and a trailing fashion and overcoming Côte d'Ivoire 2-1 in a crunch final Group B match on Thursday. They will therefore play their fixture as well to ensure they can also get a place in the final of the ongoing championship being held in La Côte d'Ivoire. A bit more stories, and Ghana youngster Abdulaziz Issa has been given nominations for 2 awards at this year's CAF Awards. He is nominated for the CAF Young Player of the Year Award and the Interclub Player of the Year Award. He earned nominations alongside his Dreams FC teammate GHOne MP, with both being the only Ghanaians in contention for awards this year at the CAF level. The Ghanaian teenager was recognized by CAF as one of the best young players on the continent, finishing as the top scorer in last season's CAF Confederation Cup with his former team Dreams FC. He's competing for that prize alongside rising talents like Senegal's AFCON star Lamine Camara, as well as Karim Konate of Salzburg. Now, Brighton's Carlos Baleba and Yakuba Mente of Brighton are the ones he's competing against for this award now. The youngster had 2 assists and 4 goals in 10 matches, helping Dreams FC reach a historic semi-final berth in the competition that was played last. Goals and captained the team throughout the campaign when Dreams went all the way to semi-finals of the CAF Confederation Cup. So, interestingly, missing out was Mohamed Kudus for any nomination at this year's CAF Awards night. Let's end on some beach soccer news. And the Black Sharks of Ghana ended a campaign at the 2024 Beach Soccer AFCON in a 5th position after beating Mozambique 5-3 in the second qualification game played earlier today. Ghana had gone out of contention for its ultimate after losing their opening group games against Morocco and Egypt. Alexander Ajete, who is in contention for the Gold King in the ongoing tournament, again had a hat-trick for the Black Sharks to beat their East African counterparts 5-3. Now, Weiss, Jamadi, and Richard Osai, those scores conclude their scoreline for the Black Sharks. Meanwhile, Senegal beat Egypt 2-1 to advance to the next year's FIFA Beach Soccer World Cup, which will be held in Seychelles next year. Up next now is GHOne.
Patrick.
In entertainment news this evening, Guinness World Record breaker with the longest time in hugging a tree has presented his award to the National Chief Imam with a call on preserving the country's forest reserves and the need to end illegal mining. The record breaker Awal Abdul Hakim says he seeks to embark on tree planting for every minute that he spent hugging the tree.
Awal Abdul Hakim is a 23-year-old Ghanaian climate journalist and the current Guinness World Record holder for the longest time spent hugging a tree for 24 hours and 21 minutes at the Kumasi Cultural Center in the presence of friends and well-wishers. Presenting his certificates to the National Chief Imam, Awal emphasized that his aim of embarking on this journey is to create awareness on the need to preserve trees. Again, he called on stakeholders to see to the end of illegal mining and stressed the need to preserve the country's forest reserves and the need to end galamsey.
Getting the chance to meet the National Chief Imam alone itself means a lot to me. Understand? Without the certificate or without this Guinness World Record, I cannot get up and say I'm coming to meet the National Chief Imam or I'm going to meet the National Chief Imam. It's Guinness World Record. It's not just Ghana record. So everyone wants his name to be part of the book, or his name to be etched in the book.
Awal is also expected in the coming days to plant 1,461 trees across the country to represent every minute he held on to the tree. He is therefore open to collaboration and support for his environmental initiatives.
I'm a reporter. I'll keep on educating people, creating awareness on the importance of trees. After the planting of the trees, we just keep on educating people through the NCC, through any other government organization to educate Ghanaians on the importance of trees. I'm planning to plant trees nationwide, and with this certificate, and when I present it to any person or any organization that, look, I'm the Guinness World Record holder, I want to do this, please can you sponsor me? Oh, they will, you have a Guinness World Record, yeah, and it is recognized the whole world.
Well, congratulations to Awal for that achievement. And that's how we wrap up with News Tonight this evening. Thank you so much for making the time. As always, do visit our website, starfm.com.